really feels like it's over today. When I walked into church this morning, I was told, I think we need to make sure the heater can get turned on. And it feels a little bit like that in here this morning, doesn't it? Summer has been a long run, and then maybe a few more days, but here we are in fall. And so I'm going to ask you to, even though it was maybe just a couple days ago that it felt like summer, I'm going to ask you to think a little bit about maybe summer when you were kids. Did anybody go to church camp when they were a kid? Go overnight to church camp? Yeah, okay. You know what it's like, right? Everybody remember that a little bit, or seen the movies, or whatever it might be, right? The PG ones, folks. So, I did church camp as a counselor for a physical youth church camp here in West Michigan last year. And I had gone to church camp as a kid many decades ago now. But it's the same. For those of you who haven't been for a while, it's the same. The kids all sleep in a big room that's just got chinking in the wall so you can see out, to see what's going on. It's a simple roof, and there's no heat. And one electrical outlet up on the ceiling, the light bulbs that you've got to plug everything into up there. And you get up early, and you've got some kind of morning activity, and then you have breakfast, and then there's a church typically, and then there's something for lunch, and then there's afternoon activities, and it's great. It's a lot of fun. You got about 12 kids in your cabin, and they still do all the things like, if you want to swim out above your waist, you have to take the swim test. Anybody remember the swim test? I'm going to brag a little bit. I did pass the swim test, thank you very much. But they were serious about it. You really had to go through it. You had to do all the steps. And one of the parts of camp was I had a group, because I hadn't gone before, I think they gave me, let's say, a challenging group of young men. They were all going into 7th grade. Right? They were all going into 7th grade. So 12, 13 years old, cabin full of boys like that. And when I got there, they get you there the day before, and then the kids show up, and it's like a whirlwind hits when they come in the door of the cabin. Because they want to pick the bunk, and they want to be near their friends, and they don't want to be near so-and-so. And then the other kids show up, and there's a lot of energy, a lot of posturing that's going on with these kids. There's a lot of, they haven't seen each other in a year, or maybe they've never seen each other before. And they're all going to be living real close together for this week. And so a lot of standing real close to each other those first couple of days. Talking right at each other. A lot of energy. A lot of so-and-so's treating me this way, or I remember this about them. And that's just sort of in the background with those 12 and 13-year-old boys all week while you're there. One of the times it really comes out is, just like camp from years ago, they think everybody should go to bed at 9 o'clock at night. I'm ready for bed at 9 o'clock at night with those kids. They're not quite so ready. So one of the things that they have you do is you get to spend 15 or 20 minutes having sort of sharing quiet time in bunks, right? Can we tell ghost stories? Can we flash our flashlights? Can I get up and go give so-and-so this? I forgot to get my sweatshirt. One thing after another, to get up, to keep moving, giggling, throwing things, shouting at each other. And I could have just been a recording. So-and-so, go back to your bunk. So-and-so, stop it. So-and-so, it's time to be quiet. And then eventually, miracles happen, and it gets quieter and quieter, and they're all blissfully asleep. On the last night, and every night I would try to have some time where I'd say to them, let's have a reflection on your day. What was good? What was bad? where is your place of thanks and gratitude? And mostly I'd get stuff like, I'm glad we had pancakes today. I do, we have pancakes. Or I don't know why the orange juice is so watery. Or we should have been able to go swimming today. But on the last night, when they wanted extra time to tell ghost stories, they were going around, and one of the boys said, I am scared to go home tomorrow, because my parents are going to get divorced. And they're both talking to me about it, but I don't know when it's happening. And I don't know where I'm going to live. And I don't know if it's my fault. And I'm going to tell you, the energy in that cabin, the 13-year-old boys, was a little bit like this room right now. All of that extra posturing, all of that extra positioning that they'd spent so much time on, evaporated. Everyone in the room was present to this person who honestly was in need and had the courage to share that story. And then some of the other boys actually shared things that they were afraid about in the year to come. And then we had prayer, and they all went to sleep. Today's gospel story looks a little bit like the boys before the last night. They're not paying attention, and they're not listening. Today's gospel story is an extension of the story from last week, which, just as a refresher, Jesus is traveling. And when he arrives in the town he's coming to, he's tired. Kind of like a camp counselor at the end of the day. In fact, he's got 12 of these guys too, as a matter of fact. And he says, I heard you all talking about something. What were you talking about back there? And they don't want to tell him. And it turns out they're talking about who is the greatest among us? Who's the greatest? Anybody remember what Jesus says to them? Jesus is a child, a toddler. So they've been busy posturing. And they're spending all this time trying to figure out where they are in relationship to each other. I'm better at this, therefore I must be first. I'm better at this. Jesus takes a toddler, puts the toddler on his lap, and says, those who welcome this child welcome me, and those who welcome me welcome God. Today's story, this child is still sitting on Jesus' lap. Jesus has just told them, how do you know who the greatest is? How do you figure out where you belong in this position? And he says, I don't care about that. You're asking the wrong questions. And what happens in our gospel story? This sounds like people I know. It sounds like me. John says in the first half of this, he just goes back to talking about what he was talking about before. Okay, but wait a minute. All right, that's a nice idea, Jesus. But there's this guy over here, and he's doing acts of power, and is he in our group or not? Where is he in this hierarchy? How do we know if he's right? How do we figure out where he is in this whole pecking order? And Jesus, with the child on his lap, still on his lap, this toddler, says to him, if any of you put a stumbling block before one of these little ones, he tries to bring them back to get them out of the questions they insist on paying attention to. Who's first, and who's second, who's greater, and who's lesser, and rather to say, I don't care about that. It is those who are afraid, those who are brave enough to ask their innocent questions, those who are vulnerable, like this child, that will enter my kingdom. And that's really what Jesus is expounding upon after that. Whatever you do that gets in the way of that, you better figure out a way to stop. In our country, this week, we have had an incredible display of posturing. Who is the greatest? Is it the Democrats? Is it the Republicans? These are the questions they would like us to be asking. As the story with John's question says, even if this person is doing the right thing, if they're doing it for the wrong reason, should we accept them? Sound familiar? Anybody heard anything like that? When I've struggled this week with our own stories of posturing and being attentive to the energy of where we are in relationship to each other, I keep asking myself, who is the child who is sitting on Jesus' lap in this story? And I would suggest to you today that it is the women or the men who have their own terrible stories of assault, their own spaces of vulnerability, that aren't interested in participating in a system of who comes first, but simply to be acknowledged that they are loved, that are the children. In this episode from the gospel that is playing out in our national lives right now. I don't know if you saw or heard, but this week, hotlines for sexual abuse victims, the calls into them have skyrocketed, up 200%. And I have heard from a number of you about your own heartbreaking stories that you carry with you. No matter who is first, these stories and the women and men who have been damaged by them are the children we are called on to serve. They are the first in God's eyes. Luckily for us, from our reading from James, as people of faith, we have something we can do. First, of course, to listen and to show compassion to victims. That's not necessarily agreeing with them, folks. That's giving them space to speak. And then, as they say in James, there is power to heal in prayer and confession, which we will be beginning immediately after this sermon, and then in our shared meal at the table, and the invitation to healing prayer we make here. May we take this message out the doors of this church so that when we enter the world that looks a little bit like the first day at summer camp with a bunch of 13-year-old boys, we can remember to be as silent, attentive, present, and caring as our Savior and as all of you right now.